Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the semifinals for the ZOTAC Cup North America. $100 being battled for here today. It's spawning in the lower right corner of the map. He's from Neurosoft. He's orange and he's Protoss. It is Underdark.
Indeed. And in the top left-hand corner, his opponent spawning as pink. He's the one and only killer as we go into his sound cam.
Did you just make up something called sound cam?
Yeah, man. It's like, you know when you have like
no face cam. Like, it's just sound cam.
You know how you have listen in on Call of Duty streams and stuff where they have like they're doing their commentary. They're like, you know, whatever, like the teams communicate with each other. That's like the sound cam. You can check in how the APM's going and what they're doing.
Slick probe, slick probe, slick probe, slick probe.
You hear the talking? Slick probe, slick probe. Is that how you slick probe, slick probe, slick probe.
Actually, in my head, I'm dead serious about this. Like, this is so terrible, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is gonna get not safe for work here for just about 2 lines, but when I'm doing select larva, build drone, SD, SD, SD. Oh, wait till Baldy puts his headphones on. He needs to hear this story. So anyways, like I was saying, when you've got the larva selected, or the highest tree selected, you go SD, SD, SD for select drone, select drone. In my head, I hear SD, SD, suck dick, suck dick, suck dick. And it just becomes like the energy I'm channeling to my opponent, like, oh, I hate you so much, suck dick, suck dick, suck dick. Like, I get so angry when I play Zerg, man. I don't know what to tell you.
We got a like another language in there now.
Oh, yeah, that guy. That's probably Sanskrit if I had to guess. I don't even know, but yeah. So I mean, Zerg versus Protoss on Akilon ways. I feel a lot of the matchups on this map in particular of this race combination comes down to Colossus Wars versus Swarm Hosts. And I really love seeing that happen, but alternatively, a lot of players are really sticking towards the Roach Hydra composition with the addition of Vipers. Because once you pull in those Colossus, there's nothing to deal with the Hydralisks. There is literally no Protoss unit that very effectively deals with the Hydralisks once they're in those big numbers. I mean, you're not going to have 50 Archons on the field. You're not going to have Stalkers trade blow for blow with Hydralisks any day of the week. Even upgraded. I mean, it's... Without those Colossus, with the Vipers kind of canceling them out, this ground army from a Zerg player becomes more and more effective.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually at a local LAN here in Adelaide yesterday.
What does LAN stand for? I forget.
Local area network?
Oh, so we had a local area network. Okay. Continue.
Yeah, so basically an offline event. And shut the fuck up.
Rip in peace, Baldy.
Shut the fuck up. RIFKIN, how many times?
Can we keep this stream a little bit PG, or at least try to? Come on, man, have some class. We're casting world class StarCraft 2 players, and you can't even refrain from using profanity.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had to wait 3 hours for this match.
Yeah, I know, right?
I get dancing.
That lobby.
I don't know.
So yeah, you're at a local LAN.
No, let's talk. Yesterday, right, I was watching quite a few ZvPs, and I was really excited with Roach, Swarm Host, Viper, Hydra. It was like the craziest mix I've ever seen, and he made it work.
Yeah, it's really nice. Vipers have changed the late game dynamically for Zerg players. But I really gotta say, I do enjoy seeing Swarm Host incorporated. A lot of players, I feel at least in the North American scene, and somewhat on the European scene, are really struggling to incorporate them to their composition. And that's because they're cool units, but they are so difficult to use. And they're the only, like... First off, they're not throwaway units like most Zerg units are. They're very static, unlike the mobility of every other unit a Zerg player has. And they're not cheap. But they're so damn effective. I've seen Swarm Host take out Colossus entirely in and of, like, just on their own. And of course, you gotta remember, the longer you have a Swarm Host on the field, the more it's gonna pay for itself. Every single wave of Locusts, even if it's not killing anything, if it's stripping the shields on only 10 health off each of these Zealots, that's still free damage.
Yeah, and like I think the good thing about Swarm Host as well, like you're saying, is that they force that Colossi play, because that's really the thing that kind of wipes out the Locust. But you can then, you know, like you said, you know, then the Vipers come in and they just pull it back. So it's just, and Colossi aren't cheap. So.
Well, one thing I'm curious about here is we do have a Stargate coming, and chances are this is going to be Phoenixes to open, as it's still a very classic thing to do. But Void Ray is so darn effective. It's funny because, like, I remember casting with Doom, and we were casting Idra versus Estrella. and there's the Hydralisk army versus a Void Ray army. And I said, you know, okay, these Voids are going to melt the Hydras, and Doom's like, did you mean that the other way around? I was like, nope. Just nope. Because Void Rays are just so damn good. Oh, well, I'll give you one guess, Baldy. What do you think happened?
Oh yeah, the charge was used, and
it did nothing.
Yeah, well, I guess if you have a critical mass of anything,
well, the thing about Void
he
Rays
had enough Hydras to one-shot the Voids, right?
He did, but still the Void Rays powered through it. It's just, they're so good right now in this matchup now. What I think is going to happen here is the opening of the Phoenixes, right? This is going to be what every Protoss player does. You pick off Overlords, maybe force your opponent to swap to Hydra Tech, then you go for BAM Colossus. So that's why we have the Robo Facility coming out. But actually, we have a very early Void Ray, so I eat all of that, and I take it back, and I'm really curious what Underdark's going to do. Immortal Void Rays. Not a composition I've seen too frequently.
Chat's just caught up with the
awesome land thing.
I'll call it a local Ann in future.
A local Ann. That would actually be so redundant, like, rest ip.
Yeah, what's with that kind of, like, thing that's common now, rip in peace? Like,
it's
why
just because people are dumb. They used it wrong, it became a meme to make fun of people, and because people started using it so often, it became a thing. So now it's just this really dumb meme of a phrase that's been used incorrectly by stupid people.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Can't believe people do that.
ATM machine is another one, as Dave Tank brings up. Automatic teller machine. There was an ATM machine at the local LAN I was at, but it died, so rip in peace.
Wow.
There we go. All of the nails on all of the heads.
Well, you can just stop casting now. We're done.
But look at this. We got the Hydras I was talking about earlier. I don't know if this was baited out necessarily by the Phoenixes, but they are coming. We have an infestation pit following suit, and Baldy, I can't tell you how much I'm finger crossing that this is not infestors, but instead swarm hosts.
I'm looking forward to that as well, if that's the case.
Oh, Zergling's going to get in here. There's nothing here to really well contend
they're not
with them.
focusing either because they were doing the rocks. Actually, really nice timing there.
Oh, look at this. He's going to get the sentries. Even with those force fields going on, might even get the Immortal too. And what is here to follow this up? No, a Mothership Core and a Void Ray. The Immortal will fall, but the Assaults will clean this up, and that was a big loss for a low-cost amount of Zerglings. Really well done by kKiLLeR.
Definitely. Really, really helpful there. Alright, 24 Lings on the way. What's it gonna be? Ooh.
The Infestation Pit, actually, I take that back. That could just be for a hive for Vipers. I would still like to see Swarm Hosts incorporated, though. But Hydra aggression here at the main. There is a Colossus. kKiLLeR does have to be careful. I like that.
Damn, that range is huge.
It is huge, but you know what? He baited it out, so now it's not available. And oh my god! Oh, nice. Force field does go down. But
gets rid of the
Mothership
Actually,
Core.
that's really good. Getting rid of the Void Ray and the Moko.
Well, the catch to getting the Mothership Core is, though, you force your opponent to build a new one, and the new one's going to have more energy than the one who just depleted all of theirs on that Photon Overcharge. But yeah, so Hive on the way. No Swarm Host, sadly, today for RIFKIN. Not yet, at least. But we will have Vipers.
And everyone loves a good Viper. I must say, it's very entertaining to look at Vipers. It's New York and stuff. And also, I really like recently we've seen a lot more use of the Blinding Cloud. Like, it's, you know, it's something that originally we just saw
broken, Baldy.
the Abduct. But now, Blinding Cloud is actually a really good ability.
Well, a lot of people are kind of forgetting, like, with how almost every Protoss unit is ranged, you can use the Blinding Cloud in the same effect of a force field. Not to trap a unit in, but to just create zones of the map that belong to you. Like, if you don't want your opponent hitting to the right here, you just put down a wall of Blinding Clouds. They're not going to come through that. But of course, they're expensive. They're not cheap like force fields are, and it's really difficult to get tier 3 units up. But Baldy, oh my god, kKiLLeR, I love you. kKiLLeR, I love you so much. We got Enduring Locust and Swarm Host coming out. I like this a lot.
Yeah, we do see the Phoenix scouting through. He even has Overlord speed. kKiLLeR has Overlord speed, so...
Oh, kKiLLeR, you're making me love you even more. So do you see these forward Spinecrawlers and Spores?
Yeah.
They're not going to be utilized right now, but he can advance them later to pick off Observers, to make sure that nothing can touch his Swarm Hosts. So if you surround your Swarm Hosts with 6 defensive structures like this, I mean, it's not about the Void Rays or anything like that. The only form of detection a Protoss player can have is going to get picked off. This is actually really well done. Really smart.
Is there an observer on the field? There is one, which is currently with the Colossi army.
Underdark is going to snipe off that Overlord. I mean, he's got a lot of Colossus. He's got some Void Rays up right now too. But the thing is, you know, the Colossus, while they will eradicate the waves of low, they can't push into it is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. When you have enough locusts, which you're looking at, you know, 7 to 8-ish, which he has, it gets to a point where there's so many locusts that by the time you kill them, the next wave is in.
And let's not forget, you can just as easily grip... Ooh, we're going to take a sad fight there. Grip your opponent's forces into your locusts. Same way you would with Roaches, same way you would with Hydralisks. And look at the actual army composition on the field. We've got a hell of a lot of Hydralisks. No Roaches, sadly, so tanking might just be an issue.
Yeah, the Spire on the way, so I think we're going to have some Vipers coming out soon. This is the competition I'm talking about. We do have some Lings in there, not a lot of Roaches, in fact, no Roaches right now. The Lings are, you know, doing their thing, but we'll see. He might be able to... The only reason why you see those Roaches are only there really to tank, so the fact that if cKiLLeR feels like he's got an army that is supportive enough...
the Locust might just assume that role, take the free hits, do some damage, get out, but... Alright, we do have a lot more defensive structures coming back at home. These Locusts, though, they do have that enduring upgrade, so they will last it's not twice as long, but it's significantly longer. But look at these cannons, Baldy. They're going to deal with these Locusts quite nicely. Not before kKiLLeR gets some free damage off of these probes, though.
They just do so much damage, oh my god.
Yeah, and it was like 12 a shot or something absurd like that. Let's see here. 14 a shot with +2 upgrades, yeah.
Yeah, and every 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, Locusts have a bit insane damage. But again, you gotta remember, this is free damage. I can't emphasize that enough, guys. These Locusts actually having some trouble getting range on these cannons. We'll take another one down. But instead, if he focused on the gateways, I think it'd be a little more effective, but uh-oh. Here comes that Colossus push. Locusts are gonna get some... Actually, they're not being microed correctly.
Yeah, there's 6.
Oh, but there's no wave, and he hasn't moved back. He's gripping the Colossus into nothing. They walk down the cliff. And kKiLLeR taking a really bad engagement for himself. Nice blinding cloud going down on most of the Stalkers, but the Locusts, the Swarm Hosts, they have to get out. They can't take this fight.
Yeah, really nice timing from the push from Underdark there. Pushing while the Locusts were on cooldown so that any Abduct, like you said, you know, they didn't get surrounded.
Yeah, the Locusts had not spawned yet, sadly, but look, with all these defensive structures up, kKiLLeR should be able to hold until that Greater Spire completes. I like this transition too. TLO's a player who's been incorporating 3 Broodlords into most of his compositions for that extra free damage, those extra free units. And if you've got Swarm Hosts, you've got Broodlords, you've got a lot of expendable army.
One thing though that's really good for Underdark here is he's on the offensive, so to be able to secure that 4th base, as we all know, 4 base Protoss is so much scarier than 3 base. So if Underdark can keep this offensive posture, keep that map control, and safely, you know, mine up minerals, all that. You look at he's got 1k gas in the bank and he's max, so he's going to have a really nice bank to be able to remake this army.
He's also got upgrades. I mean, it's 2-2 Zerg right now, 3-3 actually near completion, so he will be behind ever so slightly in upgrades, but we have him transitioning into that Sky Toss composition. Another Stargate on the way. I think it's a total of 3 on the field, but look at this. So many spines here, it's going to be very difficult for our Underdark to attack with anything other than the Colossus. And the Colossus, of course, always in danger of being gripped. And spores are here. Look at that Colossus melt, Baldy.
It's demolished.
I kind of wish I had like a sound button for like Pudge, or like, what's his name? From, yeah, Pudge. Just get over here.
Yeah. The other thing to note as well is that the Templar Archives is almost complete, so we're going to have some feedback available soon, which is so important to deal with these Vipers. But until that's the case, these Vipers have free reign.
Scorpion from Mortal Kombat also says that, I think, so that'd be another good sound bite to have. But sorry, Scatterbrain here. I like that we have a DT shrine on the way, actually, because with all, I mean, there's a lot of spores. But you got to keep in mind, kKiLLeR's probably not producing many Overseers at all. If you can just sneak a couple DTs into your opponent's base, you'll do a lot of damage, and if you can't, well, then you've got a lot of DTs that become very cheap Archons. Well, gas is cheap, that is, but man, that bank from Underdark, Baldy, it's looking so scary right now with a maxed out army too.
Yeah, he's also expanded to a 5th location now, so this is what we're talking about with that map presence. You know, kKiLLeR had that opportunity and he pushed forward, he didn't make it work, so he's now lost that opportunity to stay offensive, and that's given time for Underdark to get all these tech structures. He's getting Storm as well.
That bad engage early on really shook him up too, I feel like. We see how defensive he's playing. I love that he's incorporating so many, like, spine crawlers, spore crawlers all over, but it's only going to buy him time. These are not structured, like, this is not a bunker, this is not a missile turret. I love that he's advancing them up, actually.
Alright, it's going to push into this 5th base, it looks like.
I like this a lot. We have our Protoss player positioning himself to deal with this. But again, this is just going to force him to be so very defensive. And all we need is one good grip, one good abduct to really just start chipping away at this army. But behind this, we got another Spires, we have double upgrades, we got flyer attacks on the way, we've got ground attacks. Tech is looking really great here for cKiLLeR. And this is what you need to do. This is a better way to use... Oh no, it's Swarmos getting pushed forward by the Locusts, hilariously enough. But you...
Oh, we actually lost a High Templar then. That's really not the best use of the High Templar there.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is... Oh no, it's one Swarmos.
Being a boss.
Yeah, being a retard more than a boss. But yeah, I mean, this is what you do. You let the Locusts go, you unburrow, you reposition.
Oh,
nice fungal,
nice.
and abducts going off on these Void Rays as well. Nicely done. Good catch there by cKiLLeR. But the Colossus are still here. He can't push up. Great feedbacks, but too many on one Viper, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually no High Templar as a feedback anymore.
Oh no, look at the rally point messed up. Oh, he does correct that. Half the Locust going down the ramp, the other half going up. Herp-a-derp moment, to say the least, but looking at the actual units on the field right now, guys, I mean, it's looking really good, but both players are sticking near max, and neither's really doing a lot of damage. So we see compound banks. Look at this. Dark Templar now moving in. I love this choice out of Underdark. Because, again, cKiLLeR, he's actually prepared for it, hilariously enough, but Underdark doesn't know this. I mean, he saw some defensive structures earlier, but he didn't see the massive amount of spores that went with it.
That is ridiculous.
So, I mean, he's not going to be able to get it. He'll cause some damage, but these DTs will not be as deadly as he wants them to be. However, this army in the north still posturing about, this creep still being spread, and there's so many spore crawlers here. Some fungals are available, locked, loaded, ready to go, but Infested Terran's coming out.
Oh,
Fungling
nice
the High Templar!
on all of those
But there's no follow-up to this. There we go, the Locust going to kill the Templar. Storm's going down, but all for naught. And now, Underdark pushed back once again. His Colossus army. It's so scary, but he can't do anything with it. The Fungal's holding him in place, the Locust following this up. Look at the resources lost, guys. I mean, okay, cKiLLeR's a little bit behind, but this is all free damage he's still getting off.
Well, the DTs actually did an okay job. They did deny the what looks like to be the 6 o'clock position base, and they also killed about 7 or 8 drones. So not as bad as I thought they were going to do, given how
but big engage volley happening here. We have Underdark saying enough is enough, abducting left and right. Void Rays getting demolished, and now it's just the Stalkers and the Colossus. Colossus still being abducted as well. And man we're just going to see cKiLLeR push, but you gotta remember, here's that Sky Toss transition. Tempests on the way. And the problem is, Tempests are not how you deal with Swarm Hosts. At least not effectively. Tempests are great for dealing with Corruptors, great for dealing with Broodlords, but the Swarm Hosts don't give a good gosh darn.
Yeah, they're one of those kind of units that really, they just do damage all the time, because anytime Protoss moves in, you know, there's guaranteed to do, sorry, anytime the Zerg moves in, there's always time to do some damage. But like you said, you know, they're probably not the most effective choice right now, but it looks like Underdark's really investing for the late game.
Yeah, he's getting a lot more Stargates on the way. That huge Skytoss army will be problematic if we don't have more Hydralisks. We actually have a lot of Broodlords, so no more Corruptors. I mean, there's Fungals available, there's a lot of tech available, we don't have anything.
What are these units called Broodlords? What?
When
did they happen in Heart of the Swarm?
They're the Lord of Brutes, man. But I like this slow pushing with these Spine Crawlers is cKiLLeR, really nice choice. And the thing is, at this point, he doesn't actually need to win an army fight. He can actually starve his opponent out eventually if Underdark can never establish another base. Because the mains aren't mined out for both these players, so are the naturals. They're relying on 3-ish base economy apiece. And there's so many, I mean, the Vipers have been doing their job all game. But look at this, the Tempest going to deal with this air. The Vipers can't even get close. The Broodlords will get like 3 shot, I think, by the Tempest as they do massive 90 damage. But oh, that grip. Nothing to follow it up, though, hilariously enough. One Fungal does lock it down. It will be picked off by these Hydralisks, but here come the Colossus, and it will chase it off.
Yeah, they do so much damage versus Broodlords 90 a pop.
Oh, but nice Storm on top of the Hydras. Doesn't get too many kills, but these free units, the Locusts and the Broodlords, keeping those Colossus at bay. You know what, Baldy? More than anything else right now, I would love to see a Nidus or something go down in the main of Underdark just to catch him completely off guard.
Yeah.
Even like a drop.
This DT is still doing a good job at the 6 o'clock position, denying any base that comes up. So
it's denying it, but he hasn't been trying to take that base, so it's only denying it, kind of in air quotes. But man, we've got Infested Terrans, we've got Locusts, we've got Broodlords. cKiLLeR doesn't. He couldn't have a more disposable army if he wanted to.
Oh, the High Templar's going down. Oh, yeah, 2 of them. Oh, one just gets away.
Constantly getting picked off by
health.
these Locusts. But these Tempests are completely zoning out the Vipers. They want to get in, they want to abduct, but they just can't.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. You know, when it gets to these amounts, anytime the Zerg pushes in, there's guaranteed damage.
It's guaranteed damage, but you gotta keep in mind, these Tempests are doing such a good job, of just doing tons of responsive damage. We now have air upgrades nearing completion.
Oh my god, they're just one-hitting Broodlords.
Oh, but there we go, starting to grip in the Tempest. There you go. This Colossus is gonna try and run from the Locust. But we just, you know, he just needs more and more grabs. I mean, the bank for both these players just exceeding, like, coming up on almost 20k combined between all of them. But, oh my god, we have that push. Tempest just slaughtering everything. The Colossus go down, and once the Colossus fall, the Vipers can suddenly push. Or not the Vipers, sorry, the Hydralisks. And if the Hydralisks push, oh my god, Baldy, that might have just been the tipping point. Lots of gateway units coming in, but the Tempests are slow, and they don't do a whole lot of damage to these Hydralisks. The next wave of Locusts needs to take out the Zealots, and the Hydras will push.
Zealots tanking, but yeah, without that splash from the Colossi, these Locusts do so much damage. All of the ground army just getting crushed, and you know, Tempests are great.
But not by themselves. Coming out. This is insane. We're gonna have an almost pure Tempest army. And the thing that's funny about this is Zerglings actually become very, very effective right around now. Lots of Swarm Hosts, lots of Zerglings, I think, would be the great way to just kind of push and force this way into this. Because the Tempests, you guys gotta remember, they got massive range, they got massive damage, but they attack so flippin' slow. But Underdark, still maintaining his massive mineral bank, has officially used almost all of his gas. More Colossus joining the fight now, and these Locusts are slowly chipping away at the cannons.
He needs to get a few Colossi on the field to deal with these Locusts. He has a healthy count, 16 Tempests. Oh my goodness, and they are
Baldy,
1, 2, 3.
I told you, Swarm Hosts and Colossus are very common on this map, and as we're seeing here, it's kind of ridiculous the way they're both used. But okay, looks like Underdark wants to show up once again. Probe's actually being sacrificed for supply as they try and take down the spine. And this base is the point of contention, and for those who don't know why, it's because it's one of the most important mining bases of Underdark. Look at this. Every other base he has is close to mining out or already mined out. But the same problem is coming for kKiLLeR. He's going to have to eventually expand to take... Yeah, there's that hatchery coming down. And I don't know, Baldy. This is...
in with this, though. So we've got to check with it.
I feel like the slow push, like the very slow push of Underdark is working very effectively.
He's just got to be able to deal with these Locusts, though. He has a few Colossi, but it's actually now he's got 4, so he's got a healthy amount. He should be able to start offensively pushing in. There's no more Vipers either, so that's something to consider.
No,
so
if
he can feedback, oh, there we've got more coming in now, but if he can feedback these Vipers, one gets tucked in there.
Well, again, the big problem is he's got to get rid of the Colossus so he can push with the Hydralisk, so he can throw infested Terrans down. He can't do any of that with the Colossus there, but this is absurd. Look at those Tempests, man. There's so many of them.
Yeah, it's getting to that crazy point where anything they hit gets killed instantly.
Yeah, that critical mass. Skytoss is so difficult to deal with right now, no matter what race you are. More Spore Crawlers moving forward. Vipers abducting the Colossus. Last couple Colossus will fall. There's 1, 2 underneath the Tempest army.
6 Storm.
Beautiful Storm zoning this out. Spore Crawlers cannot burrow, cannot do anything. But these Locusts, once they take care of these last couple Colossus, again with the beautiful grips, the abducts doing what they need to. Neural Parasite going down on the Tempest. And we've got a huge turnaround here. Infested Terrans coming underneath. They're about to pop, and they will do so much damage to these Tempests. Storm's still going down on the Hydralisk. Really big engagement on both these players' side.
Tempest.
But look at that, 9 cells warping in.
Underdark can't lose these.
This is pretty ridiculous. Look at these Locusts cleaning up the ground army. Stay with the Infested Terrans. There are no more Broodlords, sadly, but this base is now under heavy assault. Some cannons are here, but they will eventually get whittled down. Meanwhile, what is actually being reinforced on lots of Corruptors coming out. And again, Baldy, I just feel like a Nidus, a Zergling, an Overlord drop, maybe anything into the main, would just change this game dynamically, because every single one of Underdark's units is here in this northern base location, fighting for this point of contestation.
Yeah, like neither of them want to really take away much of their units because they don't want to lose this position. But I definitely agree, you know, trying to find an avenue, maybe even warp in a DT or two, go down to the 6 o'clock base again, which was taken. There are some overseas and stuff, but trying to find a new way to get through this because, I mean, Underdark needs his Colossi to deal with these locusts, but then they get abducted, and then he has no more gas again. Look at the bang for killer now. It's actually really strong.
It's significantly larger, yes. I mean, that gas, the minerals are great, but the gas bank is where the focus is. But look at this. We finally have the cannons beginning to be cleaned up. We have that same problem. God, those Tempests are freaking loud. We have the Colossus starting to come back, but look how many Corruptors are here. These Tempests are going to do tons of damage, but here's that Warp in. Lots of probes trying to long distance mine, even getting fungled, but the Zealots coming in. We have massive amounts of spines rerouting themselves here. Zealots are going to kill all of these Hydras and shred them to bits. This base under actually a lot of trouble. And this Zealot Warp in is just what Underdark needed to shake things up. It's actually drawing the entire army of killer out of position. Yeah, and while this will get cleaned up, it's going to do a ton of damage before it does. This is so weird for killer. Like
kind of that standoff point where we have more and more. Okay, nice amount of Zealots. I guess that's the thing. Underdark does have a bit of mineral bank, but equally we all know that dries up really quickly.
Probes are actually limiting the damage to this spine because the Zealots can't connect. But the probes are actually going to kill it. Right now, actually, Underdark is going to demolish this whole lower half of the map. Killer needs this base so desperately badly.
Such a good move. Underdark realizing he's
advancing.
He's now going to take the high ground.
But the Swarm hosts, they've got to reroute themselves. They're rallied in the wrong way. The Locusts are going to the middle of nowhere. That AI, Baldy.
That AI.
But right now, I feel like
it doesn't matter because he's got creep tumors.
Yeah. I feel right now a big thing here for Underdark too is like his infrastructure is in so much danger, right? Like this base is going to mine for so long, but if we had two Broodlords move their way, move over, there's nothing to defend it anywhere in any of these bases.
Really
Breaking
nice
this death ball.
The Observer coming in to clear up this creep tumor. If he can deny
you know what? Actually,
vision.
With all the creep tumors on the map, if Killer went for a base trade, I think he could actually win that sort of scenario, to be honest. Tempests do a lot of damage, but they're slow. Like, very slow.
Yeah, they're not quick DPS. Yeah, the DPS is very low when you look at, how long they take between this.
I can't believe we're coming up on 38 minutes, but there's so much action in this game that it doesn't feel like it.
What's the long distance mine? But he has taken out the creep tumors, so eventually Underdark will be able to take that Nexus position at the kind of 1 o'clock position. And if you can secure that ramp, that'll give him another mining base.
Baldy, another big hit of Zealots coming down here. 3-3-3 upgraded Zealots versus Spine Crawlers. Killer again going to find himself losing a lot of Spine Crawlers is basically what that amounts to. Actually, I love that. Unburrowing to drop the aggro. Really intelligent move there from Killer. I think we'll see him do it again with these two. But okay, meanwhile, Colossus still being poked at by these Locusts. I can't get over how important that free damage is. Look at the units lost. I mean, Killer was behind for so long, but he's actually started to bring it back.
This is really interesting. I mean, yeah, there's so many. 23 Corruptors. What? I mean, the thing is, these Corruptors, they can't be made, like, a few of them might be, like, you can't make Broodlords because there's just so many, many of them.
Like, the thing is, these Vipers, when they grip the Tempest, it's going to melt. When he grips the Colossus, it's going to melt. But the Tempests are going to, like, even if he just moves, these Corruptors are going to die very quickly. I mean, like,
yeah, especially he's got a few storms as well.
One
really like this, like, clearing up the creep tumors, at least at, completely taking it back almost to the bases.
Yeah, guys, I'm trying to keep the unit tab open more because there's really not a lot of production for either player at this point. I mean, it's the bank of one versus a non-bank of another, just an unbreakable, army.
Well, it's going to be really important now for Underdark to secure this 1 o'clock position.
If only Killer was in position, fighting a Protoss army sandwiched between the spines and his own would be a great situation, but I love this. Actually going to go, realizing how important the economy is, Underdark has no gas. I mean, right now, Killer can lose his bases, but he has a bank to fall back on. Underdark does not. And if he cancels this Nexus, if he kills the Nexus even...
This is so important. No cancel!
Oh my god, when you're such a low econ, he can't build... He can't build another one. This is such a big deal, but here comes a Dark Templar, actually. With no detection, will behead all of these Hydralisks.
What a boss.
But these Hydras have to be careful. Almost getting caught by those Colossus, but the unit composition for Underdark is just insane, Baldy. It is just insane.
Have a look at these bases. So there's about 600 minerals. Oh no, that's about, on average about 300, 400 at the third base. Sorry, the fourth base.
Yeah,
so
Killer.
He's almost mined out.
Yeah, but he's got minerals to fall back on in a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But
In fact, both of them are about to mine out.
we're
their
gonna find a
fifth
really
base.
desperate situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's all going to come down to like what's available. Like basically, it's like similar to Daybreak in that the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock bases are like becoming the most important bases of the map. Like you have to secure them. We see the 12 o'clock base hasn't actually been mined at all. So if Underdark can secure that, then he'll have a really good shot because he'll be able to actually mine.
Oh my
Basically,
God.
that's what it comes down to. Just 6 bases.
This is gonna be ridiculous. I think we're gonna finally see that big engage that's been holding off.
So many
Vipers
Colossi.
going right in for those grabs, but you're right, there's so many freaking Colossi, my bad. Fungal holding them in place, but here come the Corruptors. Gonna do as much damage as possible. 10 Tempest, 7 Colossus. Can the Corruptors do it? Neural Parasite's even going down right now. Fungal's holding the Tempest in place, and Locust swarming underneath. I think Killer's gonna do it. Killer's gonna break this army. And there's no
Is this
remaxing.
the end of this engagement? Oh my God.
There's no remaxing for Underdark. He has no bank behind this, but neither does Killer. 10 more infestors on the way. Long distance mining here in the north has stopped. He does have his base up. And oh, what a beautiful recall to save what little he has left. Baldy, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I agree. Like he pretty much has to do a final stand at this last mining base at the 1 o'clock position, 1 o'clock position. But there's just so much here. The Corruptors are just going to crush everything in this army other than the High Templar, but that's
Actually, is there an overseer? Okay, there we go. He's gonna lose some more storm hosts if he's not careful. This freaking DT, man, has done so much damage. But yeah, this last base is so critically important. If this falls, we're gonna see the GG. Killer has enough
storms.
units here. He just doesn't care about the storms. He can eat them all. Get back over here. And ladies and gentlemen, there's been a 45-minute game that I think is finally going to come to an end. Locust killing the Archons because there's just nothing else I feel. Gripping an Archon even. Playing a little bit of beach volleyball. Fungling the probes. Baldy, it doesn't get more painful than this. Underdark now with less than 30 supply.
This is going to be the end. Storming on Locust, everything like that. What a sick game.
And this is only game 1. This is a best
Oh
of
my
3,
goodness.
guys.
I
Underdark.
don't even know. Like that was I agree with the decision to attack down at the 6 o'clock, but there's just so many Corruptors.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know what the thing was though. For the first time this game, Underdark kind of, pardon my phrasing here, yellowed it up and just moved in. Whereas every other part of the game, it's been that slow push, that slow, snipe away with the Tempest from afar. So I think it was a little, I don't know, bullheaded, not ignorant or anything, but like just rushing in like that.
And you can appreciate when it gets to that stage and it's like 45
Freaking
minutes, it's like,
Locust.
well, I'm out of money, I need to do something.
Yeah. But actually, the funny thing is our Zerg player, I don't think he realizes how big of a lead he has. Almost 100 supply up on his opponent who has no income.
He's probably assuming because Underdark didn't GG out that he has some hidden, like,
Yeah, you don't want to play too overconfident and get lost with your army, but I want to point out, you talked about this earlier, there's actually a lot of minerals in each of these bases at the natural third and fourth, so worst case scenario, if Killer was forced to lose his bases in the south, he actually did have something to fall back on, whereas his opponent did not, but I think we're going to see the last storms of the game here, Baldy.
Again, there's no real, like, Underdark
Freaking
doesn't
Locust
have any
being
free Underdark doesn't have any free free entry units.
GG.
GG.
Oh my god. You know what? That game, we're like talking about how the lobby was taking longer than the game.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Really well
Underdark's, like,
played.
specifically like, no, F you guys, man, I'm gonna make it a sick game.
Alright, well,
That is so good.
we'll wait for game 2. I do want to give a bump. I don't know if he's still in chat. We saw him earlier. Massa and SC, guys. If you want to learn how to play Zerg, go talk to him. Follow him on his channel. The guy does amazing commentary. He's got this kind of, I'll put it in air quotes here, because sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. Awesome roommate, Coach Parko, who helps him strategize, I guess. I don't know. Either way, check out Massa on the stream, guys. That's Massa and SC in chat. He was talking earlier today. If you want to learn a thing or two about Zerg, that's where I get most of my info from.
There you go. Shout out to Masson.
But no, unshoutouts for forgetting to check in again. I think it's like the 5th week in a row he's forgotten to check in. He signs up and then doesn't play. I think he could clean house with some of the players we've had in ZOTAC in the past, but even if he doesn't, like, this is a great tournament to get experience. Like, where are you going to get a chance to play against pros like this? Like, you don't spar with, like, Pult. Like, he's not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm down to play 3 matches with you. What the hell not? No, you got to go to ZOTAC. You got to go through the finals to get opportunities like that.
Yeah. Sick game. Sick game one. 2 more games, maybe.